Good evening, everyone. Wishing you all a very happy World Environment Day. Today, ASI, Proteus and the Science and Technology Council of ICER TVM, welcome Ms. Amita Deshpande from ReChakra Ecosocial to conduct a session on elimination. Their initiative also supports local craftsmen, especially in these difficult times. I request you all to mute yourself and keep your videos on if you wish to. Please save your questions for the session that will happen in the end. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Vishwatika, right?
Vishwatika.
Vishwatika, like how she requested, if possible, keep your videos on because it makes sense to know whom I'm speaking with, right? I don't want to just broadcast or lecture. That's not what I'm here for. So I'm going to keep this conversation as interactive as possible. I don't want you all to just listen to what I'm saying. So that would be great if all of you can um, keep your videos on. Great, thank you so much. Right? Okay. So in between, I'm gonna play the presentation. Now, like Vishwatika rightly said, we work on eliminating waste plastic. So the kind of plastic waste that we work with. So the kind of plastic waste that we work with for everything. I have a question to ask all of you. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna just play my presentation. Mm, just a second. Okay. So this is my first question to all of you. What are the most important things in your life?
Oh, ma'am, you're muted, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, my internet just conked up. There's a power outage over here. So now I'm back on my phone internet. So I don't know how good and the speed will be, but let's try, okay? You can still hear me well, right?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So I'll just start presenting my screen again. Okay. Can you see the screen? So my first question to all of you is, what are the most important things in your life? Anybody can just maybe share for your life, okay? As in your life, not for your life, but in your life. What are the most important things that you want in your life, which are important to you? Any answers? You don't want it interactive.
Currently, I'd say surviving through the pandemic. But in general, it is
Okay.
and relationships with people around, people I love and people around me.
Okay. Most importantly, relationships. Okay. Anybody else? Internet. Okay. That is important. What else? Good health. Correct. Okay. So that takes me to my next question. What are the most important things for you to live? for you to live, what is the most important thing? Food, oxygen, clean air, right? Only good health, only then can you have relationships. What else? For you to survive, for you to live, shelter, okay. What are the basics? Medicines, even before that, medicines come later. Good earth, good planet, yeah. So just a few things that I have here. So we need sunlight, we need water, air, the right kind of temperature, food, yeah. Only we have all of these things, we will be able to live. Doesn't that make sense? So, what really then is sustainable development? Is it good health? Is it medicine? Is it relationships? What is it? What is sustainable development? Any definition that you all must have heard, read anytime in the past? Or is it a completely new topic that you all are learning? Okay, so I have a couple of definitions here with you. Okay, sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Doesn't that make sense? So if your earlier generation, if your parents' generation would have left and have left water which is not potable, food which is all poisonous, air which is all poisonous, how do your generation react to that? Right? We are seeing all sorts of demonstrations going on by children because the earlier generation hasn't left any of these things without any pollution in it. So yes, there is medicine. Yes, there is happy relationships to a certain extent. But where is your free and free oxygen or clean air or clean water? Earlier in the olden days, even if a person went and had water from the river, they were still happy and healthy. But today you need an RO or you need a filter, only then you can actually drink that water. So what has the earlier generation done? They have polluted the water, they have polluted our air, they have polluted the food that we eat. Yeah. So this is what sustainable development is exactly not. And that's what the definition of sustainable development is. And we all need to understand that. And that's what we need to start working on, right? There's another definition of sustainable, which is also very interesting, is that it is the organizing principle for meeting human development goals, while at the same time sustaining the ability of natural resources to provide the natural resource and ecosystem services upon which economy and society depend. Isn't that what all of us depend on? So though money is the most important thing, society, relationships are the most important things, is only possible if the natural resource and ecosystem support it. Otherwise, nothing is going to be there, right? So that's the basis of everything. So environment is not just about coming together, planting trees, or talking like singing good things about the planet Earth. It's actually much more than that. It is a pledge that at least we will leave a better planet for the next generation. And we need to start working on it right now. And you guys all coming from such good institutions where you have science is in your hand. What you're going to learn and what you're going to implement is what is going to be for tomorrow. So let's make it responsible. Okay, so let me go to my next slide. So now I'm going to jump to my next question, which is about the work we do. Okay, so like I said, we work in the field of waste management. That is also a very important integral part of our life, because waste that we create and we dump is actually going into water, polluting the water. It is going into the air because it gets burnt and releases poisonous gases into the air, or it gets photodegraded into the soil and also enters our food system. It has already entered our food systems. It has started bioaccumulating in our own bodies, right? So that's where my next part of the presentation is about waste. Okay, and where is all this waste coming from? Who creates this waste? Do trees create the waste, or do cows create the waste, or animals, tigers create the waste? It's the most intelligent species on this planet which is creating this waste. And where is all this waste coming from? It's coming from our homes and our lifestyles. Where are we throwing all of this? So most sensible people throw all of their waste bins, right? We don't try to throw it in the environment because we are a little more sensible than many other people. So people here, my first question to you is, can you see my screen? And what does it read on it?
It reads the what does all our wasting consist of?
Yeah. And then the next question, can you see that?
I don't think the slide has changed. We can see the seventh slide right now.
Yeah. Can you see our dustbins?
Yeah. Those questions are visible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what does the waste stream consist of? So the waste stream starts with your dustbin, right? So what does your dustbin consist of? If you tell me, what is it that you put in your own dustbins every day? I think this is a simple question to answer. Should be interactive. Come on, people. You can't hear me or you can't see the screen. Can you tell me? Food waste, yeah, dust, plastic, paper. What else? What else? Metal, sanitary waste. Yeah, none of you create that waste. Metal scraps. Every day in your dustbin, there are primarily three, four types of waste. Wet waste, which is your kitchen waste, food waste, dry waste, which is recyclable, and then there's hazardous waste, which is your sanitary waste or your medicines and things like that, right? Can you all hear me?
Oh yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Can you hear me?
There is minor disturbance, but it works.
Yeah, I think it's the internet issues. Okay, so whatever you see in your dustbin is going to enter the dumpster, right? Because that's the next step of the dustbin. It goes into the dumpster. From the dumpster, it could either end up in the landfills or in recycling centers, but many a times what we see in our waste stream is what is in our dustbin. Doesn't mean that your dustbin directly goes into water stream. I'm trying to say that what does our water streams consist of? Have you seen a river full of garbage or with garbage in it? Is that the same thing what we had put in our dustbins that you see in the rivers as well? So that's what it is. That's what is going on with us. We are throwing whatever in the dustbin, it either gets recycled or not, it just goes mainly into the rivers, exactly, Chennai. So, what are these different, like very high level two kinds of waste that all of us know about? This is a very simple question which we must have learnt in school. But basic two types of waste is degradable waste and non-degradable waste. Now we all know the definition of non-degradable waste, but still, are we using a lot of it? Unfortunately, yes. Now this is the time to degrade for some common things that we use. So for vegetable waste, food waste, it takes less than a month. For paper waste, again, it takes less than a month. But look at these things. We're primarily using today all kinds of plastic scraps, plastic bottles, the glittery gift wrappers, thermocol plates, cups, all of this takes thousands of years to degrade. And that also, it doesn't actually degrade, it just photo degrades into thin particles and microplastics, which again gets washed into the atmosphere. So this is the impact of our consumerism on the environment. If you see the plastic bags, more than 10 lakh plastic bags are being used per minute. Now, we started this session about 15 minutes
15
ago.
minutes ago.
Since that till now, 10 million plus 10 lakh plastic bags per minute. Isn't that crazy? So, the kind of waste we humans, who are the most intelligent species, are creating is unbelievable. Unfortunately, even food waste, which you all were saying earlier, is always wrapped in plastic and thrown away, because everybody's got used to, our house should be clean, my hands should be clean, I don't want to touch that waste. So put it in a plastic bag, tie it up, tie it in a bin liner, tie it in a dustbin bag, tie it and throw it away. Now, what do you think these animals, especially in the cities, do they get fresh grass to eat in the cities? If they are hungry, where are they going to go? They are going to go to the landfill. They are going to go to the dumpster, because that's where food lies, and that food is packed up in a plastic bag. Now, if the cow wants to eat that food within the plastic bag, which is perfectly okay for the cow to eat, but because it starts eating it through the plastic bag, it automatically consumes the plastic bag. It doesn't have hands like ours who can open the plastic bag and then eat food from it. So this is the problem that we are creating by using all these bin liners and dustbin bags, that we are actually throwing all our garbage away and killing other animals who are supposed to live with us on this planet. Like we earlier talked about, when this waste is of no use and it's sent to the landfill, most of the times it is burnt, because we don't have so much space to store a lot of waste, and then it goes and pollutes your air, which is another necessity for you to live on this planet. Unfortunately, 71% of our planet is water, and it is fresh water, which we have polluted completely. So we have, dug our own grave. All this plastic waste, I'm talking about plastic waste right now because that's the topic, but essentially it has all kinds of waste. It reaches water streams, destroys all the water bodies, it goes into the oceans, destroys the oceans as well as marine animals and birds. Now, you all must have heard that plastic is photodegradable. Do you know what that is? Anybody wants to give it a try, or should I just tell you? Photodegradable means whenever any plastic is, yeah, were you going to say, Vishwatika?
Yeah, I was about to say it degrades in the presence of sunlight. It takes into small.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when Exactly. So when it is exposed to sunlight for a really long time, you also must have observed, if plastic is kept outside in the sunlight for too long, it starts breaking down into powder, like flakes or powder, like substance. And this is actually the creation of microplastics that is happening. Now, this plastic, especially when waste is in the ocean or in rivers, it floats. Plastic floats. Plastic doesn't drown, right? Because it's light. It floats, it gets exposed to sunlight, it degrades, the microplastics are created, animals will ingest it. Obviously, where is it all going to go? Animals in the water are actually the most unfortunate things, because they can't come out of the water. Or they would have come out on the land and tried to live with humans, but they can't. They have to stay in there. So, what are we doing with all of this, right? So, if you look at this screen of mine, can you see this map of our planet? Planet
I think
Earth?
the slides are not changing. It's still in slide 7. Oh, yeah, no.
Oh God.
Now it's
You
fine.
should
Now
have
it's fine.
told me earlier. Wait. It's fine now?
Yeah, yeah. It's in slide number 16 right now.
Okay. So these are the earlier slides that I was showing. The cows and the plastic bags. This is where we came from. Oh God. So you missed all of this. Okay. So these were the slides that I was showing earlier. So now this is a slide which shows the planet Earth and the map of our planet. Whatever you see blue are oceans, whatever you see white are continents. Wherever you see those circular things, because of the ocean currents, all of this plastic waste, little tiny particles as well, have gone and accumulated there for years together. And already these patches are created in the oceans. So this is an irreversible thing, unfortunately. But we can at least stop more plastic from going into that, right? So that's what we, this generation, our generation, your generation needs to work on. This is a little bit of a technical slide, but I'm just going to show you a couple of them, not all. But if you see, this is what our dustbin consists of. This is what municipal waste consists of. 70% is organic waste. So if this 70% is treated properly, rest 30% can be recycled very well. Out of that, 23% is plastic again. There's paper, there's metal, glass, and miscellaneous. Now, all of this, if can be recycled, then why not recycle it? Why do we throw it? Why do we mix it with organic waste? So the problem is segregation. And if we segregate organic and inorganic waste, the organic waste can be made into compost, which is what you all have been also trying to do, right? If I'm not wrong, that's a part of something that you all have been doing in your own college campus, if I'm not wrong. And then there is the non-biodegradable waste, which is either recycled, landfilled, or incinerated. So we are going to talk about the second type of waste, which is the dry waste. If dry waste is segregated, 59 different items can actually can be separated from the waste. Isn't that wonderful? When I was asking you earlier what all types of waste you throw in the dustbin, how many did you come up with? Maybe five or six, not even more than that. But actually speaking, 59 different items can be segregated from the waste. So that's unbelievable, right? And if that happens, then actually a lot of waste will be recycled and only a little will have to be sent to the landfill. Now, the type of waste which we deal with at ReChakra that I told you are two, three types. Okay, so I'm going to just show you quickly this slide. Okay, so you see that we use all these wrappers.
Uh, I'm
We
sorry,
also
ma'am.
use.
I supposed to be in slide number 20 or yeah. Now it is in 24. I think it got stuck in between.
Okay, okay. And can you see me also?
Yes, ma'am. You're visible.
And what I'm showing? Okay, because I couldn't see myself. Sorry about that. So, this is the different types of waste which we upcycle. So, all of us know all of this plastic bags, the thin plastic bags which are ideally banned but are still being used. Then, the different kinds of multi layered wrap. Do you know what this is? Do we all use it? Gift wrappers. Do do you think this is paper or it is plastic? So this is the type of waste which is not getting recycled in the general world right now, recyclers right now. This is all getting dumped and sent to landfills, all getting incinerated in cement factories for fuel, but it releases carcinogens. So this is what we at ReChakra are trying to upcycle. I'm going to show you a short video now, which shows how all of this gets recycled. Okay, so can you see this? Can you see the video?
No, ma'am. It is still in slide number 24.
Let me know when this video starts. Not yet?
Not yet, ma'am.
Let me start presenting again. Now?
Yeah, it is visible right
Okay, so I'll just play it. Even if you can't hear the audio, I will just walk you through the presentation. So I'm trying to say what is this made of. So this is all our plastic bags and lids. When we first wash and sanitize, then we sort them into different colors. So the we make are using original colors of the waste.
now.
We don't
I'm
dye it.
sorry to interrupt,
And
ma'am.
then manually every plastic is cut into scissors. And then traditional a hand we weave together, make a fabric from it. The entire process is manual, try to provide empowerment women youth. And once the fabric is created, we make different kinds of products from it. We make bags, stored bags, which is of types, home products. So those are some of the items we make at Checkup. And so the idea is that it's not just about creating a product from waste, but also it is about just a second, bring back my presentation. Okay, can you see my presentation?
Not yet, ma'am. I think it'll just appear in a moment because there's a bit of lag, I guess.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
Vishwatika,
Can you hear me,
can
ma'am?
you see my screen?
Oh no, the screen is not visible yet, ma'am.
I can't hear you also.
Do you want to try?
Can you see the screen now? If I don't get any input from you, I'll not know.
The screen is visible now, ma'am. Are you able to hear me now?
I can't hear Vishwatika. Anybody else who can talk?
Hello.
Yeah, the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, screen is visible. Okay, great. So, so what we do, the objective of our project is not just about upcycling plastic waste, but also reviving our heritage because we're trying to use our charkha, we're trying to use the handloom, which were very, very important parts of the Indian economy in the past. And slowly, as technology took over, industrialization took over, thousands of people lost their jobs. And these people were actually working in the handicraft sector. And a lot of them are now jobless or are doing petty farming, really 4 5 months of farming. That's all they know how to do. They can't do anything else. And they are the ones we're trying to help in one small village right now. And we want to replicate it going forward. So that's what the idea is. And the final part and the most important part is consumer awareness. So we want people to understand what kind of products they should buy, what kind of consumerism they should support, whether they should, buy or not is also a very important question. So this is what we do. And some of the products that I have, I can show you here. Can you see me and the products that I'm showing?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it is visible.
Yes. Shwatika, your voice is gone. You were the only one who was talking, and now I can't even hear you. Okay, so these are some of the products that we make. This is a messenger bag. If you watch it closely, you will actually see these are Maggie wrappers and silver gift wrappers, which makes this bag. There is a laptop sleeve that I have in my hand. If you watch it closely, the wrappers of Surf Excel and other food packets. About 25 of these make a laptop sleeveless, and we take utmost care to see everything else also is sustainable. So for example, inner padding is also made from waste foam. We don't go and buy new foam from the market and make it, and all of it takes time. Because of that it takes time, because of that it is expensive. Waste is not cheap. Waste requires a lot of labor, and hence the cost of our product definitely increases. But with aware customers who are happy to buy them, eventually, the business becomes sustainable. And that's what we are trying to do right now. There are some nice tote bags also. There are lots of things that you will see online. So I'll show you some pictures here. These are some of our pictures of what we do and what we make. These are some home decor products. There are planters in which you can directly plant saplings and grow them. These could be great gifts actually, even if you all are giving any gift to delegates who come to your school. You can always show them these kind of products or present them with these kind of products. Here are some of our customers, some celebrities also that you'll see here in on the screen. And where can you help? So the most important place where you can help is with these 5 R's. What are these five? Sorry, 4 R's. There are 5 R's. I'm just talking about four this time. So first is refuse. We first say no to the our own consumption of plastic. We ourselves, not even plastic, but everything which is extra and which is unsustainable. So we first refuse. Second is reduce. We reduce our own consumption. Now, since I realize the importance of sustainability and how I can bring about a change into my own lifestyle, I have reduced my own consumption. And I think this lockdown has taught us a lot in this sense because we have reduced our wants. There is a difference between needs and wants, right? So we've reduced our wants, and as a result of that, our general requirement of things has really come down. Similarly, reuse. Now, plastic is a substance which is actually made to last forever, isn't it? Now, we're using this thing for just a few minutes and throwing it away and disposing it. So, plastic in itself is not a problem. Our disposable use of plastic is actually a problem. So, reusing plastic or other material which are already created, that is the third step. And only then, fourth step is recycling or better upcycling. And that's what I would urge all of you to do is follow these 4 R's in your life. There's a fifth R also, which is repair, which will come somewhere after reuse because you'll reuse and then you'll repair, then you'll reuse, then you'll repair. And in today's world, a lot of the repair has gone because everything's become cheaper in place. Secondly, if you are done with the first 4 R's of refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, then whatever is remaining, you can send it for recycling. You can send some of these to us also. We get packets of wrappers from all around the country. So if you have any extra packets, you can watch our video on our website in which we explain how you can send us your plastic waste from home. Do watch that and you can send it all to us. Okay. Now, this is our team, which is working on this whole concept. This team of women here on the left corner is actually our team, which is based in the Union Territory of Dadra Nagar Haveli. It's a very small,
Ma'am,
tiny forest village where
ma'am,
our
uh,
workshop is based, and the other workshop is here in Pune, which is this workshop team. So we have about 25 people who work with us. And yeah, that's all actually what I wanted to share about ReChakra. Unless you have questions about me, my journey, I can explain and I can talk about that as well. These are some of our uh, social media handles. We have a very active Instagram page. So all of you can follow us on Instagram. Even Twitter, we are recently getting active on Twitter as well. And our website. So if you want to buy anything, you can go online, buy it. We also have a program called as an Ecosocial Buddy. You can volunteer with us through that program. So you can go fill up our Ecosocial Buddy form online and you'll be added to our WhatsApp group. And if any activity is happening in your town or in your city, you can actually come to know about that through that form. And yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to share with all of you. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. I'll stop presenting my slides now.
ma'am, I think there's a question in the chat box from Akshata Mittal.
So somebody's asking actually. Okay, Akshita, what is your opinion on holding individual people accountable for pollution that is majorly created by corporations? Do you think more focus needs to be created, a bigger movement to hold these corporations accounted? Let's say only contributing by having different bins for bio and non-biodegradable. See, it has to be both way. Okay, it has to be coming from the top as well as from the bottom. There's a very interesting proverb which I had heard a few years ago, which said, "It's just one straw," said 8 billion people. You know that proverb, yeah? So even if we are using one straw, one plastic bag, or we are segregating at home and or not segregating at home, and all individual people are accountable for their actions, then
Hear me now? Are you able to hear me now? Okay. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
you, okay, there's a lot of problem, technical difficulties. I'm really sorry about this. Now it's okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So I was trying to answer her question, and now that question's also lost. I can't see her question anymore. Can you copy paste it? Yeah, so I was trying to say that it's not just corporations who are to be blamed. Definitely, they are to be blamed as well. But it is extremely important that we also make these little changes in our life, in our lifestyle. Because whatever you are dumping in your dustbin, you are buying from the market is what runs the corporations. If you are the one who's going and eating chips from a plastic packet, the company is going to make it. If you go and say that I'm not going to use it anymore, obviously people will be able to, the cup creators will stop creating the plastic waste. It's become so convenient for all of us, so people make it. If there's no demand, why is anybody going to make it? Everything runs on demand and supply, right? But yes, it's very true that if the corporates take steps on their side, it will really make a lot of difference. So this was, what I learned when I was in the US for a few years, working in a company to manage sustainability reports of large corporations, and I was working with Starbucks at that time. Okay, and Starbucks had at that time decided to do away with their straws as a part of their environmental commitment. And just imagine, one company had decided to stop giving straws in the cups that of coffee cups. It was going to create such a huge impact. They did a survey about that, and that's when I realized that if companies take even small steps, it's going to make a huge impact. So that's where even we should start. Even if I take a decision today that I will not use a plastic bag, or if we 25 people over here decide that we are not going to use plastic bags or straw, we have our own steel straw, metal straw, reusable straw. By the way, we do sell that as well on our website. But we decide to take all these steps. Eventually, we will be able to push the government to take certain stringent steps. We will be able to push the corporates who are making all of this plastic waste. So it's in our hands, and especially all of you, because you're going to be working in all these companies eventually, you will have to push them to make these changes, right? Some of you could be CEOs of these large corporations. You never know. Or research heads of these large corporations. So, unless and until you understand this and you become aware of your own behavior, you will not be able to make these changes. So, that's what this awareness is all about. That's what Environment Day is all about. It's not just about, like I said, webinars or make coming up with events, but it is we increasing our own awareness towards the environment because it is what we are impacted by. Okay,
Adding
now
into what Akshita said in the chat box, do you think sustainability is elitist? Because if I'm trying to just switch every aspect of my life, I tried living zero waste life and all, but the problem with things that are sustainable are way more costly than the products that are not. So comes down to affordability, as Akshita said. So, like, not everyone will be able to afford a sustainable life. Like, not everyone will be able to afford to change their mindset. So, where is the middle ground for this? Like, if a
see,
set of elitist people are converting, it's not going to make a big difference. We want.
see, sustainability is actually it has become elitist because normal things are not sustainable. Unfortunately, our water was always sustainable until it became polluted. All our food was sustainable because it was not it was all organic naturally. So today when I go to our tribal village and I live there, and if I grow my own food or if I consume food that is in that village, I'll be able to live a very sustainable lifestyle, and actually at a fraction of the cost that I live in the city. The fact is that we all want to live in cities, we all want to live this comfortable lifestyle, and then we want to consume products which are green, but they are expensive. But if you the 4 hours that we talked about, if you reduce generally your consumption, you're going to lead a very sustainable lifestyle. And sometimes, sustainable products are, it's not that sustainable products are expensive, okay? it they have become expensive because of the effort that goes into making them. So for instance, our product, so though we are trying to price it at the lowest possible rate. The laptop sleeve, if you go into the market, you're anyways going to get a laptop sleeve for like 1,000, 1,500, that range, right? Now, large corporations, when they make a laptop sleeve, or big brands which are polyester made laptop sleeves, they are going to make thousands of laptop sleeves in a day. But for us, to make one laptop sleeve, it takes 1.5 day, 1.5 man days to make it. So now, if it is sustainable because the process is sustainable, the effort that goes into it is sustainable, and I'm selling it for this price, it is the fact that we social enterprises are not making that much money, right? So it's not the cost of sustainability. And one more very important thing which all of you must really remember is that plastic, petroleum, plastic is a petroleum product, fertilizer is a petroleum product. Petroleum is highly subsidized. If its real cost, which the government is subsidizing petroleum, right? If the real cost is brought into the market, nobody will be able to use petroleum, nobody will be able to use plastic. Leave aside for packaging. It will not be used for anything. Fertilizers will not be usable. Pesticides will not be usable. So it all lies in the economic decisions. So it'll be great if we all can actually bring about this change, and first of all understand that living a sustainable life is not expensive. In this lockdown, actually, me and my husband had started the the local the small kirana stores, we call it, these little grocery stores, neighborhood grocery stores, right? So those were the only options open. The supermarkets were closed, malls were closed. So if we had to go buy grocery, we had to go to the local neighborhood kirana store. And when we went there, we realized that they had bulk grains and things kept in bulk in big sacks. When we want something, they take a plastic bag, they pour all the grains in it, they tie it and give you. What if I take my own plastic bag over there? What if I take my own container over there? If I'm going to get food from a hotel restaurant, I take my own container and fill it and get it back. What's the harm in doing that? Right? That is sustainability. Sustainability is not about going into really expensive stores and buying so called organic food. You can actually grow organic food even in your terrace garden. There are millions of videos available on YouTube or Instagram where you can learn to grow your own food in an absolutely organic way. You make your own compost, you grow your own food, you live out of just your terrace or just your balcony. You won't even need to have a farm. So it's not expensive. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah.
And that's what we need to at all understand, that it is not expensive. Only then we'll be able to actually adopt it and not be afraid of adopting it. The clothes that you wear, second-hand clothes. Why can't we use second-hand clothes? There's thrift stores coming all around the place now. Okay. So there's only an economic top layer of people who can afford to change the attitude. Yeah. So I think I answered that question, Akshita, right? Okay. Now, people only care about money, not nature. They will buy the things which are affordable for pocket, but these things really destroy the nature. That's absolutely right, Gopal. And I think we have to bring about that change. So, if I change, say, I inspire 23 of you to make this change, you can go inspire more people and actually make this thing work. That's how it's going to be. There's no other way. It has to be bottom up. Any change, be it our freedom movement or be it the US freedom movement or whatever movements you've seen, they're always bottom up. Never has any movement been top down. Hmm? Because top down can only be rules and regulations, and do we like rules? None of us like rules. So it has to be we who have to bring about this change. So how can we make these eco-friendly things affordable? We can, definitely we can. So, as a vegetable vendor can afford to keep a pack of plastic bags to give buyers, will people buy expensive bags rather than getting free plastic bags from the vendor? Again, it is change in mindset. The government has given mandates; they need to be obeyed. If not, these vegetable vendors will continue to do that. But if you go with your own cloth bag and you tell 10 other people, your neighbors or friends, to take their own cloth bag and tell the vegetable vendor that we don't need your plastic bags, they will not give it. They're not going to forcefully give it to you, right? So we have to take these little steps. Yeah, I think Chinmay had already answered my question. You want to, screen and ask me questions, Vishwatika? Because I think it's just a lot of chat going on over here, which is great. I'm really happy that people are answering each other's questions. Why don't you all, discuss them loudly on chat, on voice as well, so that others will hear and listen. Any other questions?
I had another question. So,
Sure.
yeah, again, as sustainable, how do you think we can counter greenwashing as consumers? So it is easy to fall trap for things that are marketed as biodegradable, but actually not. They say biodegradable, if you compost it, it's not going to get composted. You need special, also biodegradable.
See this.
Yeah,
The biodegradable bag. After 1 year, I pulled it out from my compost and it's still amazingly intact.
yeah, because they don't really mention that it's oxo biodegradable and you need special conditions for that. How do you think as consumers we can be aware of it? Or else do you think we should hold the producers accountable for such?
Yeah, that is true. We have definitely have to hold the producers responsible for it. But to so we are trying to do that. We at ReChakra, or if you follow our Instagram handle, we do a lot of awareness activities around this, where we tell people what is really good, what is really bad. So you can definitely ask experts and people who are working in this field. You can do your own research. So why are we educated? I always feel that question because in our village, the villagers who are working with us, we have 13 tribal youngsters working with us. Okay, so all these are in between age group of 18 to 25. Okay, they are not educated as much as all of us are. They just finish their 8th standard or 10th standard exams or 12th standard exams to the max, or some of them haven't even gone to school. Now if they ask me these questions, then it is okay. But all of us who have access to the internet, who have a logical mind, I think we can do better. We can definitely research, we can definitely come up with solutions on our own. So, this is, I think, something we all need to research on. But greenwashing, unfortunately, is a problem. So there has to be more people like us, like ReChakra, or like organizations, collective organizations like your own college. You can actually come up with ways to talk about all these problems, and social media actually is doing very good job about it. Any more questions, or should we wrap up? So I think all of you are doing great. You all are at the right age where you can actually bring about that change. Even I started very young. I was, in school. I was in my 8th standard when I participated in an education competition where my topic was solid waste management. And at that time, I was in a place called Dadra Nagar Haveli. It's a union territory. That's where I belong to actually. And I did a lot of research. We didn't have internet at that time. So there were a lot of papers, white papers, libraries, books, which I had to study, learn. And that time I realized that, hey, these things are not degradable. They are not going to go anywhere. In at least my lifetime, it's going to still be here. Then why are we using it? This question actually came to me that time. And since then, I took my own decision. I decided that I will not use plastic as much as possible, or any of these biodegradable things like thermocol glasses and thermocol plates, because these were really being used very regularly at that time. And I tried to make my friends understand, my parents understand. So definitely some people change, some people just used to give a deaf ear to it. But eventually, when you start growing up and you start listening more, you start reading more about things, it starts making a difference in your own lifestyle. So even when I did not take up this as a career, I originally I'm an IT engineer by education. So I did my BE in IT from Pune, and I worked in the IT sector for about 4 years. And only during that time, I was also traveling a lot. I was trekking around in the mountains, and I used to see that whatever place I used to go in the nature, in the serene, beautiful environment, it was always littered. So no matter where in the remotest place in the Himalayas I went, there was always plastic found there too. And who was bringing it? The villagers definitely have started using plastic as well, but it was tourists who were taking it there. So leaving it at that and just calling names that nobody's going to do anything and the government needs to change and the government needs to come and clean it up. I thought I should actually jump into this, not just sit on the bank of the well and keep thinking and keep blaming others. Why not jump into it? So that's when I took the decision. I went to the US to do my master's. I learned, I studied in this sector. I did management actually, because management with sustainability was something that I wanted to work on, because I wanted to become more, take up a leadership role. And yeah, then I moved back to India in 2013, and that's when I started Arohana Ecosocial Developments. That's the earlier company that I used to run, which after the pandemic we restructured and now we call it ReChakra, the Ecosocial Tribe. And we also have an NGO through which we do all these webinars and seminars. And we would really love for all of you to become a part of our tribe. We call it the Ecosocial Tribe. So you can join our group, you can join our WhatsApp group, join our tribe. So like whenever we have any workshops coming up or any activities coming up, you could always be a part of it. So yeah, I think that's it. And let's stay in touch. Follow us on
Excuse me.
social media. Yeah, Akshita.
I have a question relating to the elitism question.
Sure.
So, right now, we can say that people kind of form a pyramid in terms of how they do economically, right? And things like greenwashing are a problem for only the top tier of that pyramid. The bottom tier, that is the maximum people there are. You then again, like, why would I, what shall I say, opt for, like, I should obviously not litter. That is something that is like unsaid. But why would I opt for expensive sustainable options when only the top tier can afford those sustainable options? Then make the whole thing less expensive or cheaper for the bottom tier of people, because
Correct.
they are a greater proportion. I'm not sure if I
Correct. No,
said
you're
that
right.
clearly.
Right. See, the problem, that's what the problem is, that all the cheaper products are cheap is because the resources that go into it are cheap. Now, tomorrow, when you're growing organic food, you're going to need cow dung. Cow dung, though, is a freely available thing. It has to be transported from somewhere, right? It needs to be mulch. It needs a lot of labor, and then that cow dung can be used to grow organic food. And organic food also is, the production is lower, okay, because it is natural. So the natural capacity of the soil, natural capacity of the manure, whatever you get in 1 acre of plot is definitely lower than when it is pumped with fertilizers and when it is pumped with pesticides. It yields more if it is pumped with all these unnatural things. So that is why the price goes up, because there's no extra labor required, very little labor is required. So all those things actually bring up the price of natural or organic products high. But having said that, if all of this goes up in demand, if the consumer demand is high, and so definitely in the beginning the elites are going to start any market, no matter what you're talking about. You know, in if you see all these things like Maggie or whatever we started to eat in earlier days, were always an elite product. Then later on, everybody started adopting it. Isn't that right? So I think it will be, we will get there. But the point is that even if it is expensive for now, let's support it, because these are the organizations who are leading us to the right path. Or like I earlier said, if you have your own land in the village, or you have your own balcony, you can grow your own food. It's not going to be any expensive, and then it will not be. You won't have to go and buy it from, say, Nature's Basket. It's not expensive, so then it will not be an elitist thing. See, there are companies, there are social enterprises who are definitely selling it to the elite because they also want to get their profits out, right? They are running their own businesses. Why should they be left behind when all the other corporates are making money? Am I answering your question, Akshita?
Yeah, yeah. My point still stands that
Hmm.
you know by I think companies usually use this thing to blame individual customers. That, let's
Hmm.
say, you said that 8 billion people said that I'm just using a straw, right?
Hmm.
But even if that is the case, I think companies take the accountability off of themselves when they market these products to us. And like they say that you are the one who's polluting and you are the one who is, right?
That
And
is right.
how do you think, like, what do you think about that?
No, that is right. So see, it is, companies are not saying that you are polluting. Definitely, maybe some companies do, but the fact is that companies do understand that it is them who are polluting. These large corporations, Reliance makes all the plastic in India. So they are not going to say that we are the polluters. They will say that, okay, you guys want it, that's why I'm giving it. Now we are talking about large corporation. Let's go back to your small grocery store in your, or your vegetable vendor in your neighborhood. वो क्या बोलता है? When I go to ask him कि why do you keep plastic in your store? He said customers ask, इसलिए I keep it. So there's a blame game, right? And then when we ask the customer, why do you take plastic bag from this vegetable vendor? They say he gives me. So there is a lot of blame game over there. But if you are carrying your own bag, he and you tell him that I don't want your plastic bag, it'll be great because he is sitting there to make money. That's how corporations are. That's how this for-profit world is. So unless and until they need the consumer. So unless and until the consumer uses their minds and brains, and if they become, very vocal about what they want, corporations are going to do this only. So it is we who have to really, really take the step. We who have to demand more sustainable products at an affordable rate. We are the ones who need to go to the government and say that, hey, remove all the subsidies on petroleum. We will use bikes, we will walk, we will use electric vehicles, we will use public transport. If we say that to the government will reduce their subsidy. Maybe then everything will become expensive, nobody will be able to use plastic, and plastic pollution problem might just vanish. We don't know. So we'll have to come up with some solution, or we'll have to sit in that elitist place and actually bring about that change. Because now today we realize it that when we started our organization, when we started our product, a lot of these elite people are the ones who are buying from us, but they are the ones who are helping us sustain. So eventually, when we reach that particular place where we will be able to afford our own, manpower and maybe come to a break even, we are at a break even, but we're not making any profit as such. But if once we reach that stage, I think more and more people will start, affording it, and more and more people will start supporting what we do. But to a certain extent, sometimes the top layer has to support. Even in the olden days, if you look at how kings, kingdoms used to be, the king was, you know, market for everything. Actually speaking, right? They used to ask for all these artists used to come to him. He used to support all the artists. He used to support all the skilled people. Um, he used to sort of drive the economy, make things affordable for everybody else eventually. So I think that's where all of this comes from. I don't know. It's definitely a very great debate, and a lot of, maybe some of you can also contribute to the answers. But from my perspective and from my own experience, it is extremely important that we become aware. We start raising these questions in the outside world. We start posing these questions to corporates, and then let's see what the answers that we get, Akshata. I think that will be a great thing if we can get answers from Reliance about this.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Vishwatika, do we have time for one more question? Can I ask one question, please?
Go on.
Okay. Firstly, great talk. I found it very insightful. Apart from that, more importantly, with respect to research, you know how so we use tips all the time, and this I think is a large cost of plastic waste. I'm not sure if you brought this up. I lost connection in the middle, but we in labs there like the use of tips a lot. We use autoclavable bags. We use it because to keep things sterile, and while keep making these sterile, we have to like put them like solution for this where we can bioplastic can withstand such harsh treatment to reach lab conditions, sterility.
I'm sure there should be alternatives to this than plastic. Maybe they are not as affordable as plastic right now, but I'm definitely not very sure about that application of plastic because I've never come across it. But I'm sure there are options. Like if y'all can pose these questions and actually make them answer your authorities. I mean, possibly there could be solutions to it because plastic actually doesn't withstand a lot of high temperature. If I'm not wrong, metal is a
Exactly.
solution. I don't know. Yeah, there are glass is a solution.
Right, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, one solution people do try for like scale experiments are using glass. But
Yeah.
then again, glass is not a very reliable option because I mean, if it breaks, it's gone.
Okay. I'm not sure, Siddharth, because I don't come from that field, so I don't have so much of knowledge about that specific application. So I am not going to be the right person to answer this question.
I understand. That is completely. I mean, there's nothing to that. But yeah, I mean, I think in my opinion, the only way I could actually think of in the middle of this talk session was that we can advise people to use it less. For example,
Hmm.
we biodegradable bags, or we can reuse the same tips for the same region or 1 milli Q-tip.
Exactly.
But then again, I mean, if you want to make like a large scale difference, maybe an
Hmm.
alternative would be the best thing to take up. So that's where my question
Maybe.
stemmed out of.
Maybe that could be one research topic for some of your final year students or or any year student. Seriously.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, that could be one place where you could actually start. That's how it happens, when some problem actually bothers you to the core, that's when a solution comes out. And that's what all of you should start doing, start really thinking about this problem. Don't just who cares. That is something we really need to stop because that's what the earlier generations have done. That attitude should really not be our attitude if we want to bring about a change.
Definitely. Anyway, once again, thank you for the talk. It was very informational.
Thank you. I'm glad you had so many questions at the end. Yay. Cool. All right then, Vishwatika, should we wrap up?
Sure. Thank you so much for the informative session. We learned a lot and we got lots of new insights right now. And I'm pretty sure we are going to start thinking even more deeply about sustainability and to incorporate things into our lives. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending the
Thank
talk and
you.
again, happy
Hey, and do
Diwali.
follow. Yeah, and do follow us. These are our social media handles. If you are on any of the social media platforms, do follow us.